The morning sun poured through the towering glass windows of the prestigious Aldercrest Global Headquarters, turning the marble floors into rivers of golden light. Hundreds of applicants hurried through the lobby dressed in expensive suits, hoping to impress one of the world's most successful companies. Hidden among them stood a man wearing worn work boots, neatly washed but faded jeans, and a simple gray shirt. His hands carried years of hard labor. His shoulders carried years of heartbreak, and tucked carefully beneath. His arm was an application. Not for an executive position, not for management, but for the lowest job in the building. He was applying to become a janitor. No one noticed him. No one imagined that within the next hour, the billionaire CEO herself would suddenly stop breathing for a moment after reading one single name on his application. That forgotten name belonged to a man she had spent 12 years searching for. Before this incredible story continues, if you believe kindness deserves a second chance and that one act of compassion can change a life forever, please like this video, share it with someone who still believes in humanity. Leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, and subscribe to Vektor Media for more emotional stories that touch the heart. His name was Elias Rowan, a 39-year-old widowed father whose entire world revolved around his 8-year-old daughter, Maren. Every morning before sunrise, Elias prepared breakfast, braided his daughter's long, dark hair after learning, through endless online tutorials, packed her school lunch, and walked her to the neighborhood bus stop, with the same reassuring smile he wore even on his hardest days. Few people knew that smile hid years of exhaustion. 3 years earlier, his wife had lost her battle with a sudden illness, leaving him to raise Maren alone while drowning beneath hospital bills that insurance never completely covered. The small construction company where he had worked eventually shut down during an economic downturn, leaving him unemployed. Since then, every interview ended with the same disappointing sentence that another applicant had been chosen. Savings disappeared. Furniture was sold. Even his wedding ring had quietly found its way into a pawn shop simply to keep food on the table and electricity flowing through their tiny apartment. Still, Elias refused to surrender. He believed no honest job was beneath him. Pride could never be more important than feeding his daughter. When he saw that Aldercrest Global was hiring custodial staff, he ironed his only decent shirt, borrowed bus fare from a kind elderly neighbor, and traveled across the city with hope resting quietly inside his heart. He never imagined destiny had been waiting inside that glass tower all along. On the top floor sat Vivian Ashcroft, one of the youngest self-made billionaires in the country. Newspapers praised her brilliant business decisions and admired the empire she had built from almost nothing. Yet behind the headlines existed a woman carrying a private wound that wealth could never heal. 12 years earlier, before becoming famous, Vivian had been a frightened university student struggling to survive after losing both parents within months of each other. She had lived in an aging apartment with little money, often skipping meals to pay tuition. One rainy afternoon, she had collapsed outside a train station after working 2 jobs, without eating for nearly 2 days. While hundreds of strangers walked past, only one young construction worker stopped. Without asking for recognition or even learning her full story, he bought her lunch, paid for medicine when he realized she had a high fever, and quietly slipped an envelope containing every dollar he had earned that week into her backpack before disappearing into the crowd. Inside the envelope had been a handwritten note saying that life sometimes became unbearably heavy, but people were never meant to carry it alone. That anonymous kindness kept Vivian from abandoning school. She graduated, built her company, and spent years wondering who that compassionate stranger had been. She knew only one thing about him. His first name had been Elias because it appeared on the work badge hanging from his jacket. Years passed. Success arrived. Awards filled shelves. Yet she never forgot the man who had believed. Her life mattered when she herself had nearly stopped believing it. That morning, Vivian reviewed employment applications, merely out of habit before the Human Resources Department finalized new hires. Most names blurred together until one application made her hands tremble. Written in careful handwriting were the words, Elias Rowan. Time seemed to freeze. Her heartbeat echoed through the silent office as memories flooded back with overwhelming force. She stared at the attached photograph. The face was older now, marked by hardship and responsibility, but the same gentle eyes remained unchanged. Those were the eyes of the stranger who had rescued her future without expecting anything in return. Instead of sending the application back downstairs, Vivian quietly instructed her assistant to bring the janitor applicant directly to her office. Elias entered believing there had been a mistake. The office overlooked the sparkling harbor beneath a bright afternoon sky, and everything inside reflected unimaginable success. He felt painfully out of place. Meanwhile, Vivian struggled to maintain her composure. She looked at the man standing respectfully before her and realized that while she had gained billions, he appeared to have lost almost everything. As they spoke, Elias never mentioned the kindness from years ago because he barely remembered it. Helping strangers had simply been part of who he was. He explained honestly that he wasn't looking for sympathy. He only wanted stable work so his daughter could continue attending school without worrying. Whether there would be dinner, waiting at home. Every sentence carried quiet dignity instead of self-pity. Vivian listened with tears threatening to appear, understanding that the man who had once saved her life remained exactly the same. Despite life's relentless hardships, she asked about his family, and when Elias spoke of Maren, his tired face brightened with unmistakable love. He admitted he had turned down opportunities requiring constant travel, because his daughter had already lost one parent. She deserved to wake each morning knowing the other would always be there. His greatest achievement, he said, wasn't anything listed on a resume. It was hearing his little girl laugh despite everything they had endured together. Vivian could no longer hide the truth. She carefully described the rainy afternoon outside the station many years ago, the meal he had bought, the envelope of money, and the handwritten note that she still carried inside her office safe. Elias sat in stunned silence. He had completely forgotten the incident because, to him, it had never been extraordinary. It had simply been the right thing to do. For the first time in years, Vivian openly cried. The billionaire who commanded thousands of employees thanked a struggling single father for giving her the chance to build the life she now lived. She explained that every success, every company milestone, and every charitable foundation she had created traced back to that single act of compassion. Had he walked away that afternoon like everyone else, Aldercrest Global might never have existed. Elias lowered his head, overwhelmed not by pride but by humility. He insisted he still wanted the janitor job, because he believed in earning every paycheck honestly. That answer only deepened Vivian's admiration. She realized true character revealed itself when people had every reason to become bitter, but chose integrity instead. Instead of offering charity, she offered opportunity. Elias would begin as facilities operations supervisor, overseeing maintenance teams across multiple company buildings. The position included full training, excellent salary, healthcare, educational benefits for Maren, and flexible hours so he could remain the devoted father he had always been. She wasn't rewarding kindness with wealth. She was recognizing leadership, resilience, and unwavering honesty that no resume could fully capture. Months transformed into a remarkable new beginning. Elias flourished because he treated every employee with respect. From executives to cleaners, staff members noticed that he always learned everyone's names, thanked workers personally, and quietly helped anyone facing difficult circumstances. The culture inside Aldercrest slowly changed. Employees began supporting one another, more naturally because genuine kindness spread faster than any corporate policy. Maren also discovered hope returning to her young life. She moved into a brighter apartment where sunlight filled every room. She joined her school's art club, smiled more often, and proudly told classmates that her father never gave up, even when life became impossibly hard. She didn't admire him because he worked in a beautiful office. She admired him because he had shown her that dignity came from character, not job titles. Inspired by Elias's story, Vivian launched a company-wide initiative ensuring applicants would never again be judged solely by polished resumes or prestigious backgrounds. Every candidate would receive fair consideration based on integrity, perseverance, and potential. Thousands of lives gradually changed because one forgotten act of kindness had finally come full circle. Years later, a framed copy of that original janitor application hung quietly in the company's leadership hall beside another frame, containing the faded, handwritten note that had once saved a young woman's future. Visitors often asked why those simple papers occupied such an important place. Employees always smiled before, answering that greatness rarely announced itself with expensive suits or impressive titles. Sometimes it arrived wearing worn boots, carrying hope instead of confidence, and asking only for an honest chance. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that even the smallest act of kindness can echo across years and transform lives forever, please like this video, share it with your loved ones, leave a heartfelt comment, and subscribe to Vektor Media. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that inspire hope around the world. Special request, before this story ends, please comment with the words, "Kindness always comes back." Your message may inspire someone who desperately needs hope today. As the afternoon sun bathed Aldercrest Global in warm golden light, Elias walked hand in hand with Maren across the company courtyard. Not as a man rescued by fortune, but as a father whose quiet goodness had finally found its way home. The world often celebrates power, wealth, and success, yet the greatest victories belong to ordinary people who choose compassion when no one is watching. In the end, it wasn't a billionaire who changed a single father's life. It was a single father's forgotten act of kindness that had changed the billionaire's life first, and after 12 long years, kindness found its way back, proving that no good deed is ever truly lost.